sound of London.
Sunday lunchtimes with Gaby Roslin. BBC
Radio London.
Let's go! On board now. Tickets, please.
Get on board. Come and join the double-deckers. Take a ticket for a journey on our double-decker London bus. Ring the bell to the hall when you ride with the double-deckers. Fun and laughter is what we're after on our double-decker bus.
How's your week been? How are you? How are you feeling today? I hope you're feeling okay. We are here until 3 o'clock. Please stay with us. It would be lovely if you choose to. So thank you very much. Gaby Roslin here on BBC Radio London. My show today is packed with the most incredible guests. We've got Sean Wilson. Now, he, of course, played Martin Platt in Corrie. He's talking about cheese. Don't tell him I don't like cheese. He's going to persuade me. I know. He's going to turn me. Robbie Knox from Jack Mate's Happy Hour, the podcast. He's talking about his tour. We also have Kevin Kennedy. He, of course, was Curly Watts in Coronation Street. 2 excuses to play that theme song. How wonderful. Mark Watson, the comedian, he's going out on tour. He's going to tell us all about that. David O'Reilly has a play at the Vault Festival. It's called Buff. Also, Debbie Currick will be talking about the Cher Show. And we have somebody fresh from the Dragon's Den. How very exciting.
You're aboard with the double-deckers. Fun and laughter is what we're after on our double-decker bus. La la la.
La la la. How are you doing? Now, we're not going to mention the weather. That is today's rule. This is the first and last mention of the weather, apart from in the news. Let's get the bing bongs.
And that's just a sample, baby, of what you got in store. Cross my palm with green and I'll give you some more. Oh, yeah.
There's only one place where we can go to see freaky girls doing shows, doing tricks to make us holler. On a given night, all for $1. Silicone breasts, all on the chest. Not like others, but above the rest. They'll do anything to turn us on. Them girls got it going on.
I like a lot of booty that's big and plenty. Girl, you know you've been had by me, so come and be my private dancer. I got some money if that's the answer. I really wanna be with you. I get hard after seeing you. How hard? Hard like a rock when you make that coochie pop. Pop that coochie, hey! Pop that coochie, baby, pop that coochie, hey! Pop that coochie, baby, pop that coochie, pop that coochie, baby, pop the coochie, pop that coochie, baby.
Freaky girls with plenty of class, rolling to the music and shaking real fast. Bend over backwards, make me shout, and work that body in and out. Moving that body with plenty of action, bring it to the man more satisfaction. Doing what they feel to turn us out. Just work that body all the way out.
Shake it, don't break it. It took your mama 9 months to make it. Bend over and spread them, girl. Show me those cultured pearls. Play that button, don't you quit. Then blow me a freaky kiss. Girl, you know you look so cute. Throwing that coochie the way you do. Pop that coochie, hey! Pop that coochie, baby. Pop that coochie. Pop that coochie, baby. Pop the coochie. Pop that coochie, baby. Pop that coochie. Pop that coochie, baby.
Popping that thing is a dance for the ladies. Straight from the south into the 90s. Freaky girls are the ones I like. NG strings in the middle of the night. Smoke-filled stages, women in cages. Guards at the door, armed with gauges. As they dance and I get hot, keep working that body. Don't stop.
I like the way you lick the champagne glass. It makes me wanna blast off real fast. So come on, baby, and pop it quick. I fall in love when you kiss it. Girl, you don't know, you ain't heard. Messing with me, you're gonna get served. See, none of my girls, they never complain. So come on, baby, and pop that thing. Pop that coochie, pop that coochie, baby. Pop that coochie, pop that coochie, baby. Pop the
attention, all.
You might recognise that introduction. Oh yes. It is Believe by Cher. You might be thinking, why is she playing that? Because we have an excuse to. Because we're going to be talking about the Cher Show. Live on stage. It's a musical about her life with the star of that, Debbie Currup. I cannot wait. Oh, just let's have a little bit more. We will be stepping back in time as well with Cher. And at the very end of the show, we will all shoop. How about that? We're going to shoop. Coming up after the next song, which is Sam Smith's brand new single, which I love. We're going to be speaking to Robbie Knox, he of Jackmate's Happy Hour, the podcast. I cannot wait to speak to him. They're going on tour. It's called the Round Sheep Tour. Have to say that carefully.
This rhyme, this time is one of a kind, blowing your mind like only the Candyman can. Like a heavyweight champion, knocking them out, another bout without a doubt. Once again you can scream and shout, when I rock the bells, yell out my name. This is what you've been missing. Listen to my heartbeat while I'm whispering. I know you're suffering, so sweet a Candyman, sweet nothings. Hugging and tugging and rubbing, loving it all, having a ball. All y'all girlies next to me, talking sex to me. We can't do that yet, but I bet we'll chill.
Candyman, tell them the truth.
We'll still end up knocking the boots.
Ooh, boy, I love you so. Never, ever, ever gonna let you go. Once I get my hands on you.
At each and every show, there's this groupie. Artist knows what she wants to do to me. She knows my name, knows every rap routine. But how'd she get in my limousine? Don't act a fool, don't drool, I'm just a performer. I was cool, but the room got warmer. Norma cornered me in, her and a friend named Lynn. Then they checked me into the Holiday Inn. I didn't let them win, said my pockets was thin. She blew me a kiss, I knew she wasn't new to this. I didn't want to, but the devil made me do it. To the tick-tock, yeah, don't stop. We knock boots till 6 o'clock as we lay. All night long and early in the morning she sang this song.
From down below to a modest bungalow, trying to fit in with her. Pitchforks in the pool, impropriety, life on earth is full of anxiety. All these human chores are absurd. Every day is a burn. Far from the acid and heat. Now they pay taxes and quit. Every day they just make ends meet. They repeat. And now you know this party gets petite. This family just can't win unless they all pitch in. No rest for the wicked anyway. That's what they say. The devil's in the details every day.
What a voice they have. Okay, I'm my first guest today, Robbie Knox. Delighted to speak to him. My elder daughter listens to the podcast, Jackmate's Happy Hour, all the time. Robbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Very excited indeed.
Oh, well, it's lovely to talk to you. And congratulations on the podcast. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't really understand why. And I sort of forget about that when we're recording it because we're just in a little room with three of us talking to each other. But yeah, then when people come up to you in the street and say how much they love it, it is weird, if I'm honest.
No, well, don't actually be excited by that. I get the weird thing because when you do podcasts, you sort of... because they're so intimate, and it's the same with radio shows. You know, somebody stops and says, "Oh, I heard you. Oh, did you hear it?" It's just really nice to know. So celebrate that. So for people who haven't heard Happy Hour, like you say, it's three mates chatting. It's so relaxed. It's so lovely, and it does make me laugh. It really does. But it also it's makes you think of things. You were talking about Pika the other day, which is when people eat coal and glue off the walls and paper and all sorts of things. But you talk about all sorts, don't you?
Yeah, we do. It's quite hard to explain what the podcast is to people who don't know it without it making it sound like it's the worst thing in the world, because it's just people talking about things. But we have 2 episodes a week. One's normally a sort of celebrity one where we talk to people like we've had Ricky Gervais on, Johnny Knoxville, Rob Beckett, Rob Brydon, various people. And then the other one is just myself, Jack and Stevie talking about different topics. So for Valentine's Day, we're doing an episode giving love advice, which isn't great because we're the 3 worst people to give love advice to the world. And sometimes it's designing dream days, reading confessions from the audience and stuff like that. So all sorts, really.
And that's what it is. It's very interactive as well. So it's not just you guys in conversation. It's very interactive, which makes it very special.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do with this tour that we've got coming up is bring that interactivity to the stage where we can get people in the audience who want to be involved and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the interactivity is quite a big thing for us. So
talk to me about taking this on tour. What do people who come and watch it live, what should they expect? Yeah, I mean, a shambolically planned show. We didn't really know much about going on tour, so we got in touch with we got some recommendations of a promoter, sort of Phil McIntyre, who are great, and went to see them, and they sort of put on this thing with bigger venues than we were imagining. But it'll be a lot of features from the show, a lot of in-jokes that people who like the podcast will get, but also we've tried to make it as inclusive, so if people are coming along with friends or they've never heard the podcast, they're going to still understand what's going on and hopefully enjoy it. Robbie, do you know what I'm getting from you is that you can't quite believe all of this? It's a bit weird. I'm 45 years old. The others are all in their 20s, and I'm sort of like some slightly weird older man that's sort of hanging around with them. So it is a little bit odd that I'm now going to be playing Shepherd's Bush Empire. I don't know if it's talking. I don't know if you can say playing or not. Yes, of course. But yes, you are. Does that count? Okay, playing Shepherd's Bush Empire. Just remember to come up and stay out on stage and go, hello, good evening, Shepherd's Bush. Hello, London. You know, you need to do all
I'll do that bit where you get it wrong and I'll say Manchester in London or something, even though I know very well I'm in London because it's not that complicated. But yeah, I mean, I've been to see, I saw bands like The Killers at Shepherd's Bush before, so to be actually there is really weird. And you're doing festivals as well. I saw that you're doing in the summer. You're doing. I know that seems a long way off when we're in these sort of rather grey days of January, but they come around quickly. Well, yeah, we just got asked. Kendall Calling Festival asked us if we wanted to do something. It won't be the same as the stage show. It will literally just be doing an hour-long podcast from in a tent somewhere. But yeah, that was as much that we wanted to go to a festival. And they said, do you want to play? We thought, well, that's free tickets. So, yeah, let's do that. I love you for your honesty. That is fantastic. How are the other guys? They're good. They're excited. They're a little bit more nervous, I think, going to it. I think Jack, it's easy for Jack. Jack's the one with his name on the podcast. So I think he's got a bit more to do during it, whereas I can just sort of, if it goes wrong, I'll just blame him, but hopefully it won't go wrong. See, that's the joy of doing it with other people. You're not on your own. You can blame the others. Always blame the others. It's easy. Just say, no, it's not my fault. Yeah, and to be honest, we've only charged £19.50 plus booking fee, so if it is rubbish, people probably aren't going to be that bothered. Like, if it was £40... It's not going to be rubbish. Come on. Where's your positivity, Robbie? I am positive. I'm just being self-deprecating. It will be good, I think. It will be good. Now, if people want to come along and see you, and of course they will, how do they get tickets? They can go to happyhourlive.co.uk, and that's got a link to all the different venues. We're playing 2 nights at Shepherd's Bush. One's sold out. The other one's Monday, the 13th of February. So that's your best one for London. But if you're just outside London, you've got Reading, Guildford, Cambridge as well. And also you can get tickets at ticketmaster.co.uk, of course, as well. And yes. Can you tell everybody the socials if they want to follow you? Because they should, and that's simple. It's easy to do. How do they follow you all? I think the Happy Hour podcast is Jack's Happy Hour on everything. I'm personally Robbie Knox on Twitter and Mega Robbie on Instagram, which is an arrogant way of saying Robbie. You're very self-deprecating, and I love people like that. Just have the most wonderful tour. Enjoy every moment, and please send the guys my love, and tell them from the Roslin house how much we really enjoy it. It's just a great listen. It really is. Oh, that's so nice to hear. I'm so pleased. Well, you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining me.
He won the lottery and died the next day. It's a black fly in your Chardonnay. It's a death row pardon, 2 minutes too late. And isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding when you're already late. And no smoking sign on your cigarette break. It's like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. It's meeting the man of my dreams and then meeting his beautiful wife. And isn't it ironic? Don't you think? A little too ironic. And yeah, I really do think it's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride on your already paid. It's the good advice that you just didn't take. And who would have thought it figures? And yeah, life is a funny way of sneaking up on you. And life is a funny, funny way of helping you out. Helping you out.
BBC Radio London.
The BBC Apprentice Scheme is your chance to come and work at BBC Radio London.
We have got so much news, so many conversations.
And now we're looking for our next apprentice.
You don't need a degree and you'll learn everything whilst you're here.
You'll get hands-on experience and
BBC Academy training.
working towards your Level 3 apprenticeship qualification.
We know you're out there, we know there's lots of you. And there's a lot to talk about.
If you love radio
and London,
This could be for you. Applications close on Sunday, 12th of February.
so what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
For full details and how to apply,
Go to bbc.co.uk/Radio London.
Blimey, is all I can say.
the BBC Apprentice Scheme.
and BBC Radio London.
How exciting is that? And I love that Robert says blimey. That's a real Robert phrase, but it is a bit of blimey. Coming up after this, Alistair is here with his review of films and TV. And he's going to be talking about one of my favourite films that I've seen in a very long time. I am so in love with this film that you have to see it. There's no two ways about it. You have to. It's just wonderful, wonderful film.
Yeah, this is on. I can love you better, baby. This is hard to say. I wanna make sure I go about this in the right way. Cause lately I've been busy a lot, and I know you don't feel appreciated and whatnot. I used to tell you that your hair looked fly, kiss you slow and stare in your eyes. Now I talk real foul and slick. Every other sentence is you make me sick. Back in the days I was your #1 pick. Now your heart's half broken and that's hard to fix. I had to dig deep inside myself, cause I can't see you bouncing with somebody else. It's a long journey back to the place we was, when I was too embarrassed to admit I was in love. And you was my good girl that wouldn't give it up. I can't let her self-destruct.
Baby, smile today, cause I've been imagining more ways I'm gonna love you better. And your friends will see it too, just when you think there's nothing else I can do. I'm gonna love you better.
When I think about the things we did, and I think about you having my kids, and I think about us sharing a crib, losing all that, God forbid. You deserve flowers and candy, the simple things, in addition to the SLs, baguettes and rings. Instead I walk around like I'm a king, and having you ain't nothing but a thing. I even stopped telling you the loving was good, too busy fronting in the hood. Baby girl, hold me tight, don't ever let go. I'ma do it real gentle, baby, nice and slow. One more chance, baby, and don't say no, cause I got another side to show. Some say love is painful, it helps you grow. Well, it's time for the pain to go, you know?
Baby, smile today, cause I've been imagining more ways I'm gonna love you better.
I love you better, baby.
Your friends will see it too, just when you think there's nothing else I can do. I'm gonna love you better.
Do you think I meant to hurt you? No. Do you think I meant to hurt you? So let's laugh together, cry together. God willing, we gon' die together. Do you think I meant to hurt you?
No.
Do you think I meant to hurt you? So let's laugh together, cry together. God willing, we gon' die together. It's a brand new me, a brand new you, a brand new day. Sky so blue. Hold my hand while I walk with you. Sit on my lap, let me talk to you. No more games calling you foul names. Acting like females is all the same. I'm gonna love you better, my mentality changed. From this day forward, I'll never be the same. I'ma rub your lower back, share my dreams. I love you, let me show you what I mean. Give you the deepest love a girl ever seen. Watch you sleep so peaceful and serene. A toast to the queen, you're back in my life. But this time I'ma do it right. Trust me, from the bottom of my heart, nothing's gonna tear us apart, I promise.
Baby, smile today, 'cause I've been imagining more ways. I'm gonna love you better, and your friends will see it too. Just when you think there's nothing else I can do, I'm gonna love you better. Baby, smile today, 'cause I've been imagining more ways. I'm gonna love you better, and your friends will see it too. Just when you think there's nothing else I can do, I'm gonna love you better.
Do you think I meant to hurt you? No. Do you think I meant to hurt you? So let's laugh together, cry together. God willing, we gon' die together. Do you think I meant to hurt you?
No.
Do you think I meant to hurt you? No. So let's laugh together, cry together. God willing, we gon' die together.
Tom Grennan, remind me. You have to along to that. That's, I think it's a rule. Okay, I cannot wait to discuss with Alistair Shuttleworth, one of our TV and film reviewers. Hello, welcome.
Oh, hello, Gabby. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Oh, you sounded like Joey.
Sound like
You just sounded like Joey from Friends. How you doing?
See you in court. What was that guy called again?
You really did. Oh my goodness me. Yeah. How are you doing?
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc. He's been on the show quite a few times, in fact, in that very chair.
Damn.
That's such a name drop, but he has been. We're talking films and TV. Also sitting alongside you, welcome to the studio, Amelia Gammon. Amelia, we saw you on Dragon's Den.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's lovely. I cannot wait to hear all about Dragon's Den, which is brilliant. So, of course, big TV show as well. So we're not going to talk about that with Alistair because we have you here, hot from the Dragon's Den. But Alistair, before the song, I said that you're going to be talking about a film that I honestly have fallen in love with. When I left the show, watching this movie, and I went with my husband, and I stood next to Steven Spielberg.
No.
Yes. I walked away, and for the whole journey home on the tube, I said, I loved that film. I loved that film.
Wow.
I got home, I saw the girls. I said, I loved that film. I woke up the next day. I loved that film. Let's tell everybody the film we're talking about.
Yes, this is The Fabelmans.
Oh, I love that film.
Indeed.
Oh.
The latest coming-of-age film from Steven Spielberg, with a twist, citizens, that being that Steven Spielberg is the person coming of age. It's really fictionalized version of himself, Sammy Fabelman, a young kid in 1950s New Jersey who's struck as a bolt of lightning by the magic of cinema, and sort of devotes his young life to grappling with learning his craft and struggling, obviously, with the usual trials and tribulations of youth. Early loves and bullying at the hands of some anti-Semitic kids at his schools as he moves around the country, and sort of wins over people with, I guess, the beauty of his vision. It's very, very special.
And Michelle Williams is lovely. I think Paul Dano is superb. He was meant to be on the show, but he wasn't well.
Oh, really?
So he was meant to be coming on the show to talk about the film. It is very special, this film.
Absolutely.
It's up for many Oscars, of course, but it's got such heart.
Totally. It's wonderful. You say having Paul Dano in that film. It's wonderful seeing him in something because he doesn't do that much. He's very, very selective. But whenever you see him in something, I mean, his performance in There Will Be Blood is one of my favorite things I've seen in a dramatic a blockbuster.
Yeah.
But it was it's spellbinding. So yeah, it's wonderful seeing him in something so open-hearted and. And, the film about cinema, and about, I guess, celebrating that as an art form and what
love.
it can do for young people. Absolutely. It's very, very beautiful.
Oh, please, do me a favour, go and see that film. If you can, just go see The Fabelmans. It's one of those precious films that you will carry with you. I think that and Living are the two films recently that I've just loved. Let's talk about Fight the Power. Tell me about this.
Indeed. So this is a new 4-part documentary that the BBC have put out exploring the birth of hip-hop in 1970s New York. And it's helmed by a cast of cultural commentators, historians, and icons from the hip-hop world, including Public Enemy's Chuck D, who serves as executive producer on this. Now, the special thing about this is that these genre documentaries, they don't generally kind of trust you to be into the history, if that makes sense. They just serve as kind of saunters through the greatest hits of, whatever genre we're talking about. It's the viewers sort of thinking the viewers will just be engaged in seeing music that they know and love represented on screen through archival footage. This is different. This takes a really fascinating, rigorous look at what was happening historically at the time. Why New York? Why then? And the conclusion that it arrives at was that Black and Hispanic communities in New York in the 1970s found themselves kind of abandoned. The key, I guess, is this memo that was sent to President Nixon in early 1970, referring to a period of benign neglect. I'm doing air quotes for listeners. The city was decaying. There was vertiginously rising crime rates, terrible underfunding of social programs. And the rich white folks, sort of fled New York en masse, leaving to it sort of poorer Black and Hispanic communities that the police were less minded about, intervening in. So you had young working class Black youths were able to just get together in huge parties in the street. Listen to music. They didn't have the money to buy or learn how to play instruments, but through turntables, they were able to kind of mine instrumentation from existing records and make their own music with it. And then 10 years down the line, you get The Message, which is a massive Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 hit. And it kind of puts the genre on the map, and the rest is history.
How fascinating. I want
really
to watch
interesting.
that. Oh, thank you. We'll catch that on iPlayer.
Indeed, yes, that's available now.
And then Shrinking. Now, I'm standing by to watch this with both of my daughters. I've never seen so many adverts for anything
I know, right?
on Apple TV. Harrison Ford on the small screen.
Absolutely.
Tell us more.
Well, it's kind of a running thing with Harrison Ford, isn't it? That, like, in addition to not being in much notable or particularly good of late, he's never really been able to do TV comedy. And I'd say that this is perhaps a turning point.
I thought you were going to say something negative.
Oh, he's really good. He's really funny. He plays this sort of grizzled older therapist to Jason Segel, who's plays this therapist whose life's kind of unraveling. He's grieving over his wife, and he sort of resorts to unconventional, potentially ethical boundary crossing routes to support his patients, and it's very heartwarming. It's a bit silly, and it's studded with these brilliant cameos. Obviously, since he's a therapist, he's got people coming in, and it's excellent bit parts abound. So it's fun. It's definitely worth checking out. So that's available now on Apple TV.
I think Brett Goldstein has something to do with this as well. Brett Goldstein, of course, from Ted Lasso. Brett, if you're listening right now, he used to come on the show a lot. Now he's Ted Lasso. Do we hear from you? Yeah, more shows after this. Thanks, Alistair.
Yeah, suckers, y'all just don't know. Payback is most definitely in effect. Right here, right now. Yeah, Dre, you and your stupid dog girlfriend. Let me tell y'all something. I got my boy JT Money on one side. I got my boy Clay Fossier on the next side. Yo, we just finna rip. We finna rip. Yo, JT King. I know suckers ain't trying to just come in with that whack shit. Keep trying to fuck, mess around and get plastic. And your back split, cause this drastic. Run up on my homie and you leave in a casket. True players don't talk that way, shit. Talk about letting another brother suck your only punks talk like that. I won't even bust ya, I slap you with my gap. Frontin' like a gangster, but you's a faggot. See you can act it, but you can't back it. Brother when I get you. Whatever, I'm going all out. Step on death row and spread your house, sucker. Some fat cookie trying to talk fast. Mess around, get a missile launched at your ass. And for your homie talking fly slick, if we was locked up together, I'd have made a my trick. Cause I know y'all pranksters. Y'all suckers still faking like gangsters. Rough time. Death girl! Death girl! It's about time for me to tear the roof off the mother. I grab the gag and make all your punks run for cover. You can fool a groupie, but you can't fool a gangster. 1985 used to be a prankster. Darren Lonzo and the Wrecking Crew, turning off the lights and dressing like women too. So everybody on death row must be a joke. I put a lever to the chair and watch you folks smoke. Real gangsters don't follow punks down here. I guess your boy Snoopy Dogg must be a queer. Now who the hell you gonna blast in Miami? Step to me and I'll kill your whole family. And I do mean the whole you think I'm playing, son. I got my Glock to your head, now where you gonna run? Before you diss my homie Luke, you better think twice. I put a trigger pump and turn off your life. Yeah, sucker, you just don't know the boys know about you, Dre. Back in the days when you used to be dressed up in them old sequins outfits, looking real pretty on them album covers. Now you was singing back in the days, man, Dre. Yo, you had lip gloss and all that on. I bet you had that real sweet perfume. Yo, Dre, you know what I want you to do for me right now? Take off that G-string, baby. If you wanna be my girlie, maybe. Yo, Mike Fresh, let's just take these suckers beat. Yeah, suckers, this how we do suckers. We take suckers beat. Yo, forget about that. I don't wanna hear no more of that. Yo, Mike Fresh, bring me back to them real gangster beats. Verse 2, silly suckers, stop riding on the deals. Neck front on my homie and you're bound to get killed, kid. Dr. Dre, you ain't slick. You did a whole album of other dumbest bullying tips. I wreck your whole style. Bust shots at them fast, you suckers can't last. So don't try to flip the script, money grip. I got a tech on my hip, plus I'm in the mood to trip. And I'll take it, fo-fo. Take a walk down death road, them suckers get petrol. Cause that junk ain't nothing but soft town. Play bad, get knocked off, clown. I'll be on the DL scoping. Catch you slipping, leave your head and your chest open. That sucker change gears like a 10-speed. Last album, homeboy was against weed. Now he missed the chronic, man. Get out, sucker, try to play behind it, man. Act like you wanna be tough. And the boys gon' call you bluff. Yo, Drake, check this out. What you gon' be this year? I wanna know what you gon' be this year. Last year you wasn't smoking no weed on the album. This year you smoking weed on the album. One year you was all dressed up like a little freak on the album cover. This year you a gangster. Yo, Drake, could you please tell me what you gon' be? I better yet, I'ma tell you what I am. I am a real player. Yo, that might have been your girl that was on stage who was giving me straight neck. Yo, let me tell you something, Drake. Cowards in Compton get sprayed in day. Cowards in Compton get sprayed in day. Yo, pump, cowards in Compton will get sprayed in always in mother stage. You all looking foul. You my bitch. Hell yeah.
Television with Alistair Shuttleworth and also my next guest, Amelia Gammon. She's from Bide Planet. She was on Dragon's Den this week. So exciting for you, Amelia. I saw you doing your dance.
You like my dance?
Oh, sorry. Apologies there. Let me put your mic up.
I can teach it too if you like.
I loved your dance at the end.
Thanks.
We're going to talk about that in a moment. Let's just talk about other things that we can see on television on ITVX. Now, I have a problem. I have Sky TV. Many other TV companies are available to get your television through. You can do it through Virgin, through Now, through anywhere. But Nolly is only available for the time being on ITVX. And I cannot wait to see this. Russell T. Davies and Helena Bonham Carter together.
Indeed. So, this is a new 3-part drama following the story of Noel Gordon, who was referred to as Nolly by people on set. The doyen of daytime TV, known to many of your listeners, I'm sure, as Meg Mortimer in the hit soap opera Crossroads, where she was a big star for 17 years, and then unceremoniously fired without explanation by ATV, leading to it was a huge news story in 1981. To my understanding, I mean, I had no idea how big Crossroads was at the height of its popularity. Apparently, it drew 15 million viewers.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, I don't think I watched it, to be honest. But it was. I remember there were people sort of joking about it. There were doors that when they slammed a door, it would wobble.
Really wobbly sets. Yeah.
But she was somebody that was massive.
And she was kind of a pioneering figure for women in broadcasting. I mean, she was the first woman to interview a prime minister when she sat down with Howard Macmillan. She was a pioneer of daytime TV when she did ATV's Lunchbox.
I didn't know any of this.
Indeed, and interestingly, it seems Helena Bonham Carter, before she was presented with the script, she said, "I didn't know much about this individual." And Russell T Davies, when he was doing research for the role, he was research for writing the part. He spoke to her former cast members, and something that he found is this woman that was very often presented to the public as kind of a diva. You know, there were loads of stories about her, kind of, like making last-minute script changes and stuff. Was actually someone hugely loved by the other people on the show and seen as kind of a maternal figure because she was on the show for so long. And it's really, this documentary kind of serves to reappraise a misunderstood person who was actually, as it seems, really just a very, very strong-willed individual that was crushed kind of by the forces of ageism and sexism.
Disgusting.
That essentially ended her career.
So even all those years ago it was happening, and sadly it does still happen now, as we hear from many actresses.
Indeed.
Let's briefly, if we may, talk about The Whale and Gunther's Millions. The Whale, first of all, I keep hearing everyone talking about this.
Absolutely. So this is a new film that is coming out on Friday. It was released in the US last month. And it stars Brendan Fraser as a reclusive, morbidly obese English teacher who, after leaving his family, he comes out as gay to his family and leaves them to go be in a relationship with another man. The partner dies, sends him into a depression that leads him to binge eat himself to the weight of 600 pounds. And years later, he's trying to reconnect with his daughter, played by Sadie Sink, who many people know as Max in Stranger Things. And it serves as just this beautiful look at forgiveness and redemption and I guess the sort of fragility of people. It's been criticized by some people as a sort of cynical ploy to extract tears from your face, but it's it's sweeping award nominations, so definitely worth checking out.
And Theodora, my pink-haired producer, loves it. So she absolutely loves it. She thinks it deserves an Oscar. Now let's finally end on Gunther's Millions.
Yet another absolutely ridiculous premise for a Netflix documentary. This is about a multimillionaire who happens to be a dog. In 1992, German Countess Carlotta Liebenstein decided to leave her entire $400 million estate.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember this? Yeah.
Vaguely remember this story.
And she left it all to this dog, Gunther III. And a circle of lawyers and PRs and money managers bind together into the Gunther Corporation to, I guess, work out how to best spend this dog's money. And it's kind of helmed by this Italian pharmaceutical heir who sort of exploits, as I guess dogs are, I mean, I had a dog, and I couldn't try to sit, but I'm informed by other people that they're quite easy to
I
to
love
command.
Dogs,
Yeah,
but I don't know 100 million if they know what to do with that.
Yeah, and he sort of uses this to, I guess, expand his own estate. They buy a mansion that was owned by Madonna. And they hire a pop group to come and live with Gunther. It's ridiculous. It's basically a story of how this person kind of exploited the situation to, control millions of dollars.
Ridiculous. I cannot wait to see that. Great recommendations as always. Alistair, it's an utter joy to see you.
Pleasure.
Coming up later in the show, we're going to be speaking about Cher with the Cher Show with Debbie Currup. I have to be careful. See, I can't do it. The Cher Show. If you want to know more about Cher and her life, Debbie Currup will tell us everything. Oh, I love this song.
Well, I don't know if all that's true.
I'm sure they will be singing this one in the show as well. Oh, let's just get the chorus. Come on.
I got you, babe.
Everybody's going from side to side to this. We'll be talking to Debbie Currup all about the Cher Show later on. After a bit of Bob Marley and the Wailers, we're going talking all about The Den. The Dragon's Den. Properly chat to Amelia Gammon from Bide Planet. So this week on Dragon's Den, we watched you dancing when Deborah Meaden said 20% of your company. So we're all thrilled. The whole thing, we'll talk about your actual idea, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant in a moment. We'll talk about Bide. But how do you end up on Dragon's Den? You've been doing your company for 3 years. How does that happen? Do you say, can I go on Dragon's Den, or do they come knocking at your door?
Well, I was actually very lucky. They came knocking on my door a few times. The first time they knocked and I said no. The second time I said maybe. And the third time I said, oh, we'll give it a go, but I'll only do one step at a time. So I had to record a pitch video at home, which I did. And I wasn't taking it too seriously. I submitted it and they said, you're through to the next round.
Wow.
And then I had to do another one. And then it was only probably 10 days we were filming. It was really short, just before we went up to Manchester to film.
So, obvious question is, why say no in the beginning?
The things that I was worried about is that we'll talk about what Bide Planet does in a minute, but we are a very value-driven company and we work with a lot of very vulnerable people, and I didn't want what we do to be entertainment. I wanted people to take it seriously.
Makes
and I was
sense.
worried about it. But I got lots and lots of reassurance from the producers that they would treat us in a respectful way. So
I have to say that's what came across. So sitting and watching it, I didn't think I was watching an entertainment. It was your life. It was your passion, and the company is fantastic. So I don't feel that it was jazzed up.
Yeah, we were very, very pleased with the result.
Yeah, so you should be. Goodness me. So explain all about the company and the idea.
Yeah, so we're a for-profit social enterprise, which means although, I want global domination, it's always driven by the idea that we want to have the biggest social impact that we can. So we make eco-cleaning products and body care products, but instead of making them in factories, we bring factories to the kitchen tables of historically marginalised people across the UK.
So in simple terms, what sort of people and how does that work?
So we partner with employment charities, and our home manufacturing network is made up of refugees, prison leavers, people with addictions, people with disabilities, single parents and carers, and also retirees.
So people that really we've got to be kind. Kindness is what your company seems to be about. That's, you're Bide, but you should be called kind as well. And what is it? What are the products? How are they made?
So we only use vegan, non-toxic raw ingredients, and actually it's the kind of thing you'll probably find in your cooking cupboard. And the reason that we do that, one, is because I'm also very passionate about the planet, and I'm encouraging people not to put things down their toilets or drains that are going to damage our water systems.
Absolutely.
But the other is that every single thing that we offer you has been handmade by somebody in their own homes using only a whisk and a bowl. So we have to use ingredients that are non-toxic and safe for them to make, as well as for you to use.
So, okay, they're at home, they make it.
Yeah.
Then what's the next step?
So the first step before they do that is just, we have a no questions asked policy. So we don't interview anyone, we don't ask for CVs or references. We just ask them to make the products to the standard that we and our customers enjoy. And we deliver everything to their homes. So we send the raw ingredients and the packaging to their homes on a Monday. They've got a whole week to make it. Whenever they like, they could do it in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter to us. And at the end of the week, we then collect the finished products. And then we quality control test them, and then they go out to our consumers.
And they get paid by the amount that is sold?
Yeah, they get paid for the amount they make. It doesn't matter whether we sell it or not. They've still been paid already.
See, fantastic. And it's about caring and kindness, which is important. And as you say, it's about the planet as well. So the actual thing about your product, we know there are many other products available that are vegan, and we know all of that, and we know this is the BBC, but we're talking about you because you were on Dragon's Den and your beliefs in your heart and in your soul and in your gut. This is how you feel about it. So from Dragon's Den, we sit there and watch it on television. What happens then after that?
Well, if you'd asked me this question Thursday morning, I would have said, I don't know. Probably not a lot. I'll have a cup of tea and maybe, have a sigh of relief. But the response has just been absolutely incredible.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, we've had lots of sales, which is amazing. We launched a manifesto the day before saying, if we are absolutely brilliantly successful, these are the things we'll promise to do. One of them is to spend half of our publicity talking about the bigger issues. So I am going to name drop some charities at some point on this conversation. The other is give more work to more people. What I hadn't expected was the number of job applications. So we've received just over 4,000 job applications. 4,000, yeah. So these are people who have spent...
That's a vast amount.
I mean, it's an incredible amount, and it's so representative of the problem we have here in the UK, of people who desperately want to work, but for whatever their personal circumstance, just can't do it.
Wow. I mean, that is a vast amount. So you've quite thrown me with that. So what do you reply to these 4,000 people?
Well, so far I physically haven't been able to reply to every single one of them. And we've said, please bear with us. There's only 3 of us. So we're going to reply to you, but it's going to take a while. We're completely oversubscribed. So we cannot give them work right now. And what's really important for me is to use all of the promotion around Dragon's Den to try and drive as many new contracts as possible so that I can get as many of those people into our network as quickly as possible.
So, okay, you were mentioning charities. So you work alongside charities, do you?
Yeah, so people can find us. I mean, they found us through word of mouth, but we also have strategic partnerships with Working Chance, which is an employment charity for female prison leavers. Breaking Barriers, which is an employment charity for refugees. We work with Radical Recruits, which works with people with disabilities, and then Westminster Drugs Council. So,
I mean, I'm sort of lost for words by the amount of people that have contacted you. I don't suppose you thought that would be what happened.
I didn't. I really didn't. And maybe that was naive of me. And at 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, I was trying to respond to emails and count them. And I was actually lying there in bed in tears because I felt like I felt helpless a little, that all these people desperately need help and I can't help them straight away. And then I also questioned whether it was the wrong thing for me to have gone onto Dragon's Den, because I've kind of almost dangled a carrot. And
no, because you're going to do it in the end.
I will in the end, but
you will.
I know, but they need it now.
Listen, no, yes. But what you're doing it for all the right reasons. Mm-hmm. So don't do that to yourself. Okay. Congratulations with the product. So what's the next step then for you? And obviously Deborah's there and you've got all of this publicity. You're just going to steam ahead, are you? Full steam ahead?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had so much support from new customers, which is brilliant. But the biggest growth area for us is getting into businesses.
Lovely.
So, providing our goods to large corporations, to football stadiums and such, that's where we can really grow and bring more people into our network.
And how do people find you online?
On byplanet.com. But you can also find us on all social channels at byplanet.
And that's BIDE, ByPlanet, isn't it?
That's right, correct.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure to meet you and congratulations. And may I just say, nothing to do with the pitch, but I did love your dance on the show as well. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, baby. Tell me, baby, how can I make it up to you? Well, I feel so stupid, I don't know what to do. Oh, I thought the grass was greener on the other side. I'm sitting here with me, myself, and I don't need no whiskey, don't need no wine, don't need no other stuff to cloud my mind. 'Cause I hurt my woman, been so good to me. So bring me a seat back of common sense. What kind of fool would trade his gold for a losing hand? Especially when he got a woman as good as I had. Yeah, I took her for granted and treated her so bad, so bad, so bad. my baby back. Don't need no whiskey, don't need no wine, don't need no wine, don't need no other stuff to cloud my mind. 'Cause I hurt my woman, been so good to me. So bring me a six pack of common sense. I ain't too proud to beg. You got everything I need. So baby, please let me come back home. I learned my lesson. I know I've done you wrong. Don't want no whiskey, don't want no wine, don't need no wine, don't need that other stuff to cloud my mind. 'Cause I hurt my woman, been so good to me. So bring me a six pack of common sense. Oh baby, I know I've done you wrong. Please baby, I'm hurting every night. I need you baby, I need you by my side. Please.
Public. Okay, coming up in the next hour, we get to play some more Cher music, which is very exciting. Cannot wait, because we're going to be speaking to Debbie Currup about the Cher show. Also, Rob Madge with his show, My Sons Are Queer. It's a huge, huge hit. We're going to be going live to America to speak to Lisa about neurosculpting and neuroplasticity. Yes, we will explain all. And also, Mark Watson will
The sound of London.
Sunday lunchtimes with Gaby Roslin. BBC
Radio London.
We're talking cheese. Cheese on the show very soon. Yes, cheese. Let's talk cheese. Very excited because talking cheese with Martin Platt from Coronation Street. Of course, the real person is Sean Wilson. He has a new book out called Cheddar Gorge. I think I might be having to taste some cheese. wonder why I may be playing that tune. Possibly if you hear the voice of the man sitting opposite me now. I'm actually rather overexcited. The man sitting opposite me right now. Go on, do your best Martin Platt for us.
Do my best Martin Platt?
Yeah.
Well, that was a long time ago now,
I know,
Gabby.
but you still are. You know, you were. It's any soap stars, because you are in our hearts.
Yes.
And you're in our front rooms, you're in our kitchens, you're in our homes.
And I guess when I was in the street, they were the halcyon years of Coronation Street. They had a fabulous cast then. I think even the producers couldn't believe what a cast they'd thrown together. No, quite seriously, because we all really gelled, and even off screen we all gelled too. Yes.
How long were you on the cobbles for?
21 years.
Wow. You see, that's why. You are. I know you were you, Sean. You're Sean Wilson.
I am. I am me.
But it is bizarre. Any of the soap stars that I've met or that I've interviewed, there is a strange crossover that you have to live with, which is unfair in many ways, but also it's out of love.
Yes, it is, and that's what I found. We were on the tube just earlier, and you could see people looking across, and I think it's really nice. Yeah. Most people remember the character very well. I think he was very well received. So I have that on my side,
yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Although, if you speak to Ian Beale, he doesn't get. Adam Woodyatt gets abuse still.
Does he?
Yeah, in the street.
Well, I was giving Adam abuse years ago anyway.
I know you all know each
really
other so
nice
well.
guy.
The soap awards and everything. I remember the very first couple of years it was on, and I was invited along, and it was so funny watching all of you, because everybody sort of thinks that you're all battling. You're not. You're all mates.
No, on the contrary.
It's lovely.
And I guess it's just like Premiership footballers. On the pitch they are who they are, but off the pitch, I guess they all know each other really well.
Exactly. Well, no, you're not here to talk about Corrie, although we might have to mention it once or twice. But you're here to talk about something that, I cannot believe I'm going to have to try cheese on air.
Well, since I left Coronation Street,
you're a cheese man.
I am, yes. So I went to work at a Michelin restaurant just to see things down a little. And
so cool. It's fantastic that you did that, Sean.
And I've been a massive cook for about maybe 15 years before I stepped into the kitchen. Tentatively. But I think my versatility really served its place. No,
well,
it really
and you can
did.
skate. We've seen you on ice
No, I mean
dancing.
cooking versatility.
No, I know. I thought I'd mention that as well.
Yeah. So,
but how did the cheese and you get together?
Well, I was introduced to the Michelin restaurant. Lisa, the chef there, introduced me to their cheesemaker who brought their Lancashire cheese in twice a week. And we got chatting. She said, Sean's ever so interested in the science of food, and he loves the word provenance, and that means that food is made at its source. You do just the same. Maybe you two should meet. Long story short, I have 40 national and international awards within my range.
It's just incredible.
I know. Well, I'm very proud of it.
Cheese. Now, okay, I have. So I'm going to be honest, and I know I can tell you this. Okay, I have a weird thing about cheese. It's the same thing as chocolate. I don't like chocolate either.
Don't you?
But cheese does this thing in the back of my cheeks.
Oh, it's lovely. Yes. Yes.
I've never liked cheese unless it's cooked.
Well, that's all part of the physicalities of a good cheese. Yes,
okay.
It is.
So you're going to take me through a cheese tasting.
Yes, I am.
Well, look. Let's talk about. Should we do the tasting and then talk about your book, or should we do the book and tasting?
The thing is, the book is called. I've had a book out now since just before Christmas, and I've been
love the title. Best title.
I've been pushing it for a while. It's Cheddar Gorged. Okay, where we're actually gorging upon cheddar, but kind of updating what the country needs to know about what we call our nation's favourite cheese. I think it's just a little bit of a media name for it, because we don't really know much about our nation's favourite. I mean, when I met the publisher, I was saying to him, name me how many dishes you know right now with that coffee in your hand. How many dishes do you know? And we got to 5 digits on his right hand.
I was thinking I could probably do lasagna.
Yeah, jacket potato, nachos,
maybe.
maybe.
The dippy thing with the dippy bread.
Yeah. Well,
fondue.
Yeah.
Cheese fondue.
Yeah. Well,
that's not a national dish.
We're getting up to about 5.
Okay.
And I've written 60 here for the book.
60 with your cheese.
60, yes, of course.
See, my husband and daughter love it. My younger daughter and my husband, they could eat cheese for every meal, like you.
So you'll have some cheddar in your fridge.
We do, of course we do.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah,
Unless you're a vegan, you'll have some cheddar there. So this is there to update people on how... Because in my point of view is that really the jacket potatoes and the bolognese, we were doing all that back in the 70s. We haven't updated what we do with our cheese.
You're quite right.
So this is there for that reason, but also I'm bringing the history. So I'm telling the story of the history, which goes back 1,000 years, Gabby.
That is incredible. Do you know, my lovely friend Zoe Ball, this is One BBC, Zoe was talking about cheese on your roast.
On your roast? Well... That's pushing things a little bit.
Yes, it was.
So I do a similar thing where I cook a single rib of beef above a Yorkshire pudding. So actually all the drippings come down onto the Yorkshire pudding. But I flavour it with some mustard powder. So that's the Yorkshire pudding is flavoured with that and cheese.
See, this is a perfect meal for somebody who doesn't eat meat, who is gluten-free and doesn't like cheese.
Absolutely.
I love that meal.
So, yes, so that's what I'm trying to do. It's a major
but
update.
I love this because you can tell your passion, Sean.
Oh, good.
No, you really can. The smile on your face every time you say the word cheese is fantastic. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take my life in my hands.
So I have 2 cheeses here.
Okay.
And I'll be very gentle with you, Gabby.
Are they ones that are going to make my mouth go shivery?
So one of them is just a cheddar, and one of them is a cheddar that I know well. But the one that I know well is completely sustainable. It's completely net zero carbon. Okay.
You got me there.
Yeah, Ivy's Reserve is its name.
Right, okay.
And the other one is just a cheddar. So let's see if we can tell the difference. Which means you have to try 2 pieces.
Oh, but what's so ironic?
That's the tiniest little piece.
All right, I'm
there
reaching
for you.
over to get some cheese. Okay, so you want me to tell the difference between 2 things I really don't like?
That one.
Okay, and my right hand and my left hand.
Yes, okay. So that's the net zero carbon.
You know, this is ridiculous. Okay, all right, so I'll do my right hand
And I will
first.
do the same. I will put myself through it for you, Gabby.
That makes my...
Has it got your jaw?
Yeah.
Was that the first one you've tried?
My right hand one.
Mm-hmm. For me, in my mouth, it's going a bit...
The left hand one is much gentler.
It is.
Oh my God, that's not too scary.
No, it's a real cheddar. That's why I've brought these 2 in.
That didn't frighten me.
Exactly.
The first one, I have to say, made me go a bit funny.
Yes.
The second one, I'm actually going.
So what I'm talking about in the book is how to choose a good cheddar, because there's lots out there.
That didn't make my mouth go fizzy.
Good. I love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've shocked me.
Ah, very good. Ivy's Reserve, that's what you're looking for.
Right, well, then many other cheeses are available. This is the BBC. We have to be very careful, of course, to point that out.
I've said it now.
So your book, Cheddar Gorged, is out now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go and buy it for my husband.
Shall I...
I think that's a great idea.
Shall I take you just through a couple of recipes?
Go on, quickly. Go.
Okay, so we do some breakfasty ones, of course.
Go on,
nice big breakfast for you, Gabby.
Hey.
But I think the headline recipe is possibly... You are sat down, I can see. Are you ready? 3 words. Cheddar.
Yeah.
Iced cream.
No, yes. No, because I'm
cheddar
obsessed
ice cream.
No, because I'm obsessed with ice cream.
Oh, are you?
Obsessed. It's my favourite.
Oh, great.
thing.
Oh, we found a common theme.
Last year there was a pop-up ice cream place in London, run by Anya Hindmarsh, and I had baked bean, polo mint and cheddar cheese ice cream.
Did you? Okay, lovely.
And they made me try the cheddar cheese one, and it wasn't too cheesy.
No. See, what I'm doing with that cheddar cheese one is I'm making the ice cream but knocking a bit of the sugar back. So obviously it's not as sweet.
Great.
And then making a real crispy disc of cheddar, which then I can just crumble in my hands into the cheddar. So little
get
crunchy
that one.
bits.
One more, please. One more.
One more. Well, okay, let's have a quick look in here.
How about a sort of a sweet cheese one? A pudding cheese.
Well, I do a pudding, obviously, with the ice cream.
Yeah.
But I also do... are you ready for this one?
Go.
A cheddar Bakewell. That one got you, didn't
grab
it?
me, but my husband, yes.
So you get a cherry Bakewell,
Yeah.
okay. And the big thing for me is that Bakewells, especially with icing on the top, are just so sweet. They make you teeth go numb.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to just knock that back a little bit, and I'm making the pastry with a little bit of cheddar in
that's
it,
clever.
so it has a little snap to it. Okay.
Do you know what? You are a complete and utter delight.
Oh, I knew
no,
it.
you really are. What a joy. Thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on your book. Carry on doing what you do. And you've actually surprised me. I ate some cheddar cheese.
Good.
Thank
I'm
you very
really
much.
pleased.
Lovely, Sean.
Thank you ever so much.
I don't know, but I've heard a lot of things in life before, a lot of cliches, but quite a few of them that I've heard come true if you play with them long enough. So don't say what you will or will not do. The first night we met, girl, you see we had it going on. I never thought it would last this long. The second night, baby, you see things got hotter. We kissed and held each other, and you made me holler, baby. I thought, oh yeah, I could hit it and quit it. Oh yes, I did. I hit it too long, I'm in trouble now. I can't quit it. Yeah, I heard it before. Yes, I have. You have too. Don't say what you want and will not do. Oh yeah. The third night, we left the club. On the way home, I confess I'm in love. The fourth night, things begin to change. You see, now I want to get married to you, and won't you take my ring, babe? I never thought it would last this long. You see, a man like me don't fall in love so strong. She held me for the past 3 nights. What she put on me, you see, it made me want to do right. I thought, oh yeah, I could hit it and quit it. Yes, I did. I hit it too long, just a little bit too long. I can't quit it. I'm in trouble, baby. I heard it before. Yes, you have to. Don't you say what you want and will not do. Oh yeah. Play it, Conrad. Oh yeah. Know your heart. Oh, I thought I could hit it and quit it, y'all. Oh, that's all right. The first night we met, you see we had it going on. I never thought, girl, it would last this long. But the second night, baby, you see things got hotter. We kissed and held each other, and you know you made me wanna holler, babe. I never thought it would last this long. You see a man like me don't fall in love this strong. It's kinda strange, the way she held me the past 3 nights. What she put on me, you see it makes me wanna do right. Oh yeah, I thought I could hit it and quit it. Yes, I did. I hit it too long, I'm in trouble now. I can't quit it. Got problems, y'all. I heard it before, and you have too. Don't you say you won't. Don't say, oh no, what you want and will not do. Listen to me right now. I thought, you see, I thought, yeah, I could hit it and quit it. Oh, I got problems now. I hit it too long. Oh yeah, now I can't quit it. Oh yeah, I heard it before, and you have too. Don't say what you want and will not do. Oh yeah, I thought, you see, I thought I could hit it and quit it. I could hit it and quit it. Oh yeah, I hit it too long.
Yes, that was Martin Platt from Coronation Street. Later on, we have Curly Watts from Coronation Street on. Goodness me. But that's obviously Kevin Kennedy. Kevin won't be asking me to eat cheese. But Sean Wilson, who was Martin Platt, did. I ate cheese. I cannot believe it. My husband and my younger daughter won't believe it. My elder daughter will ask me why. Because she's like me. She's not a cheese fan. But I've learned so much about cheese. Martin, thank you. Sean, thank you so much for being in. See, I confused the character and the real person. So embarrassing when that happens. Now, there is something on Instagram that I love doing. I'm learning a lot about how to keep our brains active. Obviously, we're reading more and more and more about many forms of dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's important that we not only exercise our bodies and not only eat carefully, but we also exercise and use our brains and our minds in the right way. So I've been following somebody on Instagram for a while now, and often I try out the exercises that she does. She is Lisa. She is from Neurosculpting, and I'm going to find out more. Welcome, Lisa Wimberger, all the way from Denver, Colorado. It's very early in the morning, so thank you for getting up so early.
Yeah, thank you. I have my cup of PG tips, so I am good.
I love that you've got your British tea there. Lisa, thank you. What a pleasure to speak to you, because you and I have fun and games. I'm not being flippant about what you do, but fun and games on Instagram. And I suddenly thought I want to talk to you about what you're helping us all do. So first of all, let's explain a bit more. What is neurosculpting, please?
Yeah, well, I love that you brought in fun and games, because neurosculpting is a fun and simple way to support your brain health. And we do that through many things. We do that through our meditation process, which is very fun, not at all a clear your mind kind of meditation. So yay. And then we do lots and lots of exercises to regulate the nervous system. And then we do tons of exercises to engage learning in the brain, which is what you and I have connected on. All those fun finger exercises that really challenge you. These are all amazing ways to support brain health. And that's what neurosculpting is about, is getting you empowered to take charge of your nervous system and your brain, because if you do that, the rest of your life is cake.
See, I love that idea.
Or cheese.
Yeah, no, cake. Cake is fine. I get cake. That. Lisa, the thing is, we're hearing more and more and more about dementia. We're learning more. Sadly, not enough. And Alzheimer's, and all age. It can hit anybody, all ages. We're also hearing, there is a lot of people. A lot of the world is in crisis in many ways. There are people who are suffering with depression. There are people who have the anxiety levels have gone through the roof, not just because of COVID and all of that, but it's exacerbated it. And it feels from watching you and what you talk about that these little things can help anybody, can't they?
Absolutely. So there's one common denominator in all of the things you said, whether it's depression from the state of the world, or it's the rigidity and the loss of brain function that comes with Alzheimer's and dementia. There's one common factor, and that is the brain losing resilience. And so anything we can do to stimulate brain resilience, which comes through mental exercises and physical exercises, is actually not only preventative for some of those things, but at times can even feel curative for some of those things. So, and it doesn't take rocket science. I mean, it really just takes these simple, and the key word is fun, which is why I love what you do, because humor is a major component of stimulating learning in the brain, which stimulates resilience. So there's no need for this no pain, no gain idea. This can be like, oh no, you can have growth and resilience and health with fun. That's how it works.
I think you're wonderful, Lisa. I really do. I can't wait for you to come over to the UK. We could do something together. So let's, if we may, I think the word meditation frightens a lot of people. I'm somebody who never stops thinking. So even in my sleep, I'm thinking up program ideas and what to do this and all sorts of things. But just taking some breaths and taking some moments. Can we start with the simplest way for somebody to get into a meditative state without thinking, I'm not going to meditate? Do you see what I mean? Just a very quick thing for people to do, please.
Yeah, well, one quick thing is to use your breathing. And so I'm going to give you the quickest, fastest, most potent breathing hack right now. So if you are agitated, then focus more on a longer, slower exhale. That will change the conditions of your nervous system, your heart, your lungs, and your brain very quickly. If you are unmotivated and frozen, then your focus should be on a deeper, more potent inhale. So think of inhale as raising the volume, exhale as lowering the volume. You do that for just a couple minutes and you bring your body into kind of regulation. And one statement about meditation that I want to say is there's all different forms. Meditation for relaxation, a lot of that's difficult for people because it asks us to stop our thoughts. But neuroplasticity kinds of meditation, which is what neurosculpting is, does not want you to stop your thoughts. In fact, we want you to have thoughts, lots of them. We want to just help you create the direction and momentum for all of that chatter, because that's what resilience comes from. Resilience does not come from turning it off. It comes from learning how to direct it. So we have lots of thoughts allowed in our meditation practice.
Oh, see, I love you. Goodness me, Lisa, I love you. Okay, so now the thing that you and I have done on Instagram are the finger exercises. Now, I do them all the time and I pass them on to people, and lots of my friends are now following you and do it all the time. And I can feel this may sound extreme, but I can, when I do these, and we're going to do, you can explain them on the radio because obviously people can't see it, although you can follow Lisa, of course, but we'll do that in a moment. But I can feel my brain working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extraordinary when that happens.
Yes, that's the whole, so it's amazing. The brain loves a bit of challenge. Without challenge, you don't have learning and you don't have resilience. So we don't want things to be easy. We want things to be slightly challenging, and we don't want them to be too challenging because then we'll quit. So these little finger exercises introduce the sweet spot of challenge to the brain, combined with a little bit of humor, because when you do them, you realize how simple they look, how hard they are, and you start laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
So you can do that in just a couple minutes a day. And when the exercise gets easy, you go to another one and you introduce new challenge. And that's why I have so many of those exercises.
Okay, so you choose which one we'll do. Hopefully everybody that's listening, and if you're driving, please don't try this. But wherever you're listening to this show, here in London, or around the UK on BBC Sounds, or around the world, I know you do listen in, which is lovely. Can you just do something that's going to help all of our brains to focus, to have a laugh, and to make us just do that little bit of work, please?
Yes, I'll do two quick things. One, I'll describe a finger exercise, and then you can go look at it on Instagram. On the right hand, make a peace sign.
Yes.
On the left hand, make the okay symbol.
Oh, hey, this one's tough.
Okay.
This is tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the very same time, switch.
Trying to do this live on radio is not. Oh, you see, yes.
It sounds so easy, but these things take me a very long time to practice before I even make these videos. They don't come naturally to me. But another quick mental exercise you can do, which is super fun. At any moment in time, if you introduce just a bit of novelty, your brain will stimulate in an engaged way similarly. So, for instance, if you imagine the way a cloud would taste if it were the flavor of ice cream.
You see, you got me with ice cream. I love ice cream. Okay, so I imagine eating clouds and they taste of ice cream. Is that what?
Yes. So if you introduce just this bit of bizarre novelty a few times a day, the front of your brain says, oh, wow, interesting. I never thought of that. Much the same way it focuses when you try to do these finger exercises, where it says, oh, wait, I've never used my fingers like that.
Oh, my word. Do you know, that's really bizarre. So, Lisa, you and I, we've just had fun and games on Instagram, but we've never spoken. But I've always done that thing that you said about the ice cream. Or I remember being in Paris and I said, oh, imagine if you could jump over the Eiffel Tower. And my friend I was with said, what are you talking about? I said, no, just imagine it. And then we both started laughing. And I didn't know that was what I was doing. I say I love you, Lisa.
You're brilliant. You're intuitively brilliant.
No, but this is absolutely fascinating. But we're talking about the fun and games, as you say. But these are very important things, and they take just a few seconds of somebody's day, a couple of minutes, as you say, and we can increase our brain power and our brain activity, which I think is wonderful. Lisa, thank you. How do people find you online, and where can they find out more about neuroplasticity and neurosculpting, please?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Neurosculpting and have some fun with those exercises. And then you can go to the website, neurosculpting.com. And we have tons of classes. I do free webinars all the time. I have one coming up next week. You're all invited. It's totally free. It'll be recorded. Jump in. I'll give you much more detail. And message me because I love to talk to you.
Well, we can tell that. Lisa, what an absolute pleasure to meet you at last. And when you come over to the UK, do you promise that you'll come onto the show?
I promise.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Look at you standing there. The way you stop and stare. Your muse for the night. Robando los míos en un paraíso que creamos los dos. Can't stop me, can't break me, can't fight it, can't make me, but you've got me right where you need me to be. Separate ways. Mareada, paso a paso y no aguanto ya la tentación de libertad con cada mirada más. Hold my breath, those eyes that stare, direction melts in air. Tan débil ya mi corazón, tan cerca la ilusión, un sueño de amor. Can't stop it, el ritmo acelerando con el movimiento. En este momento detener el tiempo, 'cause you've got me, we're right here where we need to be.
chord of her voice. I can't wait to see that film about her as well. Delighted to welcome into the studio David O'Reilly. He's here in real life, not just on the phone. David O'Reilly, actor and drag queen, because I've seen you doing both. I've seen you on stage as an actor. I've seen you on stage doing drag. You're going to be talking all about the Vaults Festival in a show that you're doing. But first of all, because we just heard from Lisa about the neurosculpting, we have to do the exercise. So it's, as you heard, it's the peace sign on one hand.
Yeah.
Say hello, David, otherwise people...
Hello, everyone. David O'Reilly calling. And
yes,
always a joy to be with Miss Roslin.
Right, so peace sign on one hand.
Yeah.
And I'm an okay on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now swap. You did it. Well done. And you have to keep swapping without thinking about it. It's very good for your brain power. Well done. It's really good for us. We've all got to do this.
My chakras all feel aligned.
Well, you
my
know what?
chakras are aligned.
All jokes aside, if you do this for about a minute or two a day, as you heard with Lisa, I mean, you came in and said how good she was. That was amazing. It gets your brain working, and
Absolutely.
we all need that.
I'm all for those techniques, those moments where we take a moment and just breathe during the day, because we do, particularly now, you know, even coming through London, you feel it. Everyone's in a rush, you know. So to have these little small techniques,
but also you can feel your brain working, and we all have to do that. The more and more we read about dementia and Alzheimer's and anxiety and depression, and it's so important to talk about all of those things, that these little exercises that help are so important. Can you tell me about the Vault Festival and tell me about Buff?
I can. So the Vault Festival has fast become London's version, really, of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It showcases lots of shows and comedians, and it's just a fantastic month-long event. Started on the 21st of January and goes right through until March. But it's situated underneath Waterloo Station in the Vaults, which is incredible. They've got various little spaces and stuff like that, and I'm appearing in a one-man play called Buff. Now, Buff is written by the incredible Ben Fensom and directed by the even gloriously Scott Lacrasse, who is actually the director of Rose, which Maureen Lipman will be starring in the Ambassadors Theatre, and he again is a genius. And they asked me to do it, and I'm so honoured to do it. It's a play that I read, and it sounds quite, cliche, and I hope it doesn't sound like, all theatrical and lovely, but I read the play and I was like, I have to do that. Like, it was like they opened up my head and looked into it and just pulled out all these experiences, because it essentially navigates its way around a guy in his 30s, recently single after a long-term relationship, and he's a plus-size guy. He's navigating his way around now online dating and a whole new kind of way of navigating his way around dating, essentially, as I just said. And it's heartbreaking but funny in equal measure, and real, all people will be able to relate to this. There'll be experiences about body image and body shaming, and relationships with people, jealousy, and the pieces of us that we don't always like, and the pieces that we sometimes can't always suppress, and they end up coming out and manifesting their way into your day-to-day life. And I think it's really important to have so much theatre out there that people can really identify. I know you've got Rob Madge, and he's got his incredible show, My Son's a Queer, But What Can You Do? And I think that's, shows like these give people that don't normally see themselves in theatre, on stage or on screen, a chance to see themselves.
That is so important. We're here with David O'Reilly. We're going to come back in a moment. It's interesting what you said, because we're talking about the Make a Difference Awards, and that's about recognising people that we don't usually hear about. Let's just get an update on that.
BBC Radio.
Kindness make a huge difference to Londoners across our city.
After the fourth week, I knew I just couldn't walk away from this community. They needed help.
It's time to recognise and celebrate heroes who make a difference where we live.
For a full list of categories and details of how to nominate someone,
go to bbc.co.uk/make-a-difference,
where you can also see full terms and our privacy notice.
Nominations are now open and close on the 5th of March 2023 at 11 p.m.
I said I wanted one of Food Bank, and here I am.
This is what we do.
The winner is
the Make a Difference Awards.
BBC Radio London.
And of course, the Make a Difference Awards, delighted to be hosting that again this year. It was incredible last year. Thank you to everybody that is a part of this. Please nominate somebody that you feel deserves a thank you. Somebody that we don't hear about. And as you were just saying there, David, that a lot of people on stage, you suddenly see the person that you are, and it doesn't happen all the time. With your show, Buff, and with the show that we're going to be talking about with Rob Madge, and with also, funnily enough, with these awards, you don't usually see people like this standing up on stage getting an award. And these are the people that we should all be talking about and celebrating.
Absolutely, because life is a big, wonderful melting pot of differences. Everyone of different shapes, sizes, people, different genders, and I think that's really important. With this show, Buff, like I never see a plus size person at the helm of a love story or their experiences or anything like that.
Bad.
It is bad, and with Rob, there has never been a theatre show like theirs, where someone who is non-binary is able to get up on the main stage and share their experiences. That for me is great theatre. That is where theatre is at its best.
Love that you're plugging my next guest show.
Sorry.
Rob Madge will be delighted. Their show is My Sons Are Queer, but what can you do about it? We will be talking to Rob Madge about that in just a moment. But your show, Buff, as you say, it sort of entered your mind and you thought, this